My parents were both school teachers. My dad was just a really solid professional guy. And my mom was a nurturer, just that loving second grade school teacher thing. They just had trouble, like having successful births. My mom would carry to term and the child would die at birth. My sister was the survivor of twins. I was the first adopted child. My brother was the second. Growing up in my household was fun and it was very loving. I always felt like it was great to be adopted. I loved just adventure. I loved climbing. I loved running. I loved playing. I loved being active. I just loved all those things, but I also wasn't growing and I wasn't developing and I wasn't digesting my food properly. And it became obvious that I was sick. We started in Bowling Green. What's going on with him? We don't know. We can't figure this thing out. So after a year, I go to Toledo to their children's hospital. My mom would sleep in the chair so I wouldn't be alone. And it's not like children's hospitals now where they have day beds and I've got this comfort. It's like chair, bed, sick kid, parent, that type of thing. I had every symptom of Shwachman-Diamond syndrome. It's a celiac disease. So the next step was to go to the Boston Children's Hospital. I'd get a lot of toys, fun part. Chamber of Horrors, the tests, and all the other stuff. And then I remember other kids that were a lot sicker than I was. I'd get to know their parents, and one gentleman would always bring a balloon for me. He'd throw the balloon up, and as it came down, we'd hit it at the same time, and it would be like, did it pop? And then one day he stopped coming to the hospital. And it was because his daughter had died. And that's a really weird lesson to learn when you're like 8 years old. Dr. Shwachman sort of sat us down after he ran out of tests, and he just said, I can't diagnose this. You've had him off sugar and dairy and flour for the last several years. For all we know, we're starving him to death. Go home, live a normal life, and maybe he'll outgrow this, but he doesn't have Shwachman-Diamond syndrome. And so I went home, but after 4 years of this ordeal, my parents were exhausted. And so our family physician came over one morning and he said, you guys need a morning off. You need to recover from this 4-year journey. You're psychologically, emotionally, physically shattered. And they said, how are we gonna do that? We've got responsibilities. And they just said, well, there's a brand new facility at the university where on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. until noon, they're teaching children how to ice skate. I got on the ice, and of course, I was like, it was really slippery and scary. And then I just started taking to it. And then I realized after several weeks that I could skate as well kids. And then a few more weeks after that, I realized I was skating as well or better than the best athletes in my grade. I started getting better on the ice, and I started getting better medically, and I started digesting my food properly, and my lungs started operating well again. Just this one simple thing, and all of a sudden I'm okay. I was competing regionally and sectionally, and I made it to the nationals the next year, and I went out and skated in front of 17,500 people. I came in dead last, and then went back the next year, came in 9th out of 10. And then after that, I went home, and my mom came home from the doctor with a, very cheerful and very, hey everybody, family meeting. What's a family meeting? And she said, I've just come from the doctor and I've been diagnosed with a disease called cancer. And I'm gonna have to have some medicine. I'm gonna have to maybe some surgery, but I'm gonna need some help around the house. And then she looked at me and she said, and you, mister, we're almost bankrupt. So I went back to Illinois. My coach had changed. He was a real disciplinarian. I figured it's my last year, I might as well submit. Pushed all my chips in the middle of the table, and I went to the nationals. My mom, she got there and she was wearing a sling, and they'd removed her left breast and the inside of her left arm. She was on chemo, and so she lost her hair and she was wearing a wig. And she was smiling the whole time she was there. And I was like, are you okay? And she said, I'm great. I went out and I competed, and I won junior nationals. And the big reason my mom was joyful was because she had just met a couple that was interested in sponsoring my skating. And she knew that I was not going to be quitting after that competition. We were in her room till about 3:30 in the morning, just keeping her company. She was unconscious. And my brother-in-law woke me up and just said, your mother's gone. And I just said, I know. I don't know why I said that. I just said, I know. Maybe I could just feel a lack of her presence or spirit. And I just, I went for a walk because I didn't know how to do anything without her energy and her spirit and her love and her, just everything that she'd poured into me was now gone. And I didn't know how to do life without her. And it came to me that I don't have to be sad. I can take her with me wherever I go. And I can strive to become the young man that she always dreamed I could be. So I'd take her with me to the ice, and instead of being late, I'd say, no, honor her, be on time. And I don't really feel like doing a long program run through today. No, honor her, do the long program run through, and not only do it, but do it competition level. And just that commitment to use her strength and her spirit and her example, the results were immediate. My roommate was a guy named Michael Botticelli, and he just said, you've been elected to carry the flag in the opening ceremonies. Lead the team into this opening ceremonies. It's like, why? I'm a tourist here. I just skate, and I get a jacket that has Olympic rings on it, and I'm Olympian. Yeah, it's like, why? And he goes, well, everybody was talking about what they could accomplish and why they should be the flag bearer. And we told them about everything you've endured to be here. And they just felt it was better that this team was represented by the journey more than the result. And so they wanted me to lead them out. So I called my dad and I said, are you going to be here for opening ceremony? He goes, yeah. And I go, good, because I'm carrying the flag out. And so I was 5th in the Olympics, and then I went to the World Championships 3 weeks later, and I was 5th there again. I just said, all right, game on. And, again, it was those feelings of my mom came back. Her strength, her power, her laughter, her joy, her intent, her discipline, her everything. From October of 1980 until March of 1984, 17 competitions in a row, I never lost. I'm 50 cities into a 60-city tour where I couldn't stand up straight anymore. I figured I'd work myself into an ulcer or something. So I went into the emergency room, and the doctor put me through a bunch of tests, and he said, hey, I found a mass. And I giggled a little bit, and he said, what's so funny? And I go, well, look at me. Nobody's ever used the word mass in description of me before. I was just trying to, soften whatever was happening next. 2 months shy, 20 years of losing my mom, I'm being diagnosed with cancer. I just felt completely smothered in fear. It was like staring me right in the face. And then something happened within me, and that fear just flipped. And it turned into this sense of, no. And then my mom came back. She said, oh, this chemotherapy, I finally found a way to lose all this weight. Oh, I love this chemo. I've wanted to quit smoking all these years. Now I have no desire. This chemotherapy, what a gift. My hair is so difficult and it's so unattractive, and these wigs are so easy and so beautiful. And it was like, that's who I want to be. No one was allowed in my room unless it made me laugh. And my nurse treated me like an 8-year-old. I was 38 years old, but I had SpongeBob and Scooby-Doo Band-Aids, and I had Snoopy stickers on my chemo bags and Mylar on the second bag. I guess I just wanted to be like my mom in the way I went through my cancer, that I wasn't gonna let it steal my joy. Hit the tape, the end of the marathon of chemotherapy, I hit it on time. Surgery was 38 staples. She taught me how to endure. I thought when I lost her that I'd become a fundraiser for cancer research. That if I could raise money so someone could find a cure for her cancer, that I would know why I was born. And then I got cancer. And I realized that she was a gift, and that my cancer was a gift. That I could leverage my experiences into figuring out new ways of saving lives. We put our stake in the ground as a research foundation where we are only going to fund immunotherapy, an immune response to cancer, because our bodies produce the cancer. Why can't we teach our bodies how to destroy it? And that way has now been proven, where 2 years after we put that stake in the ground, the first immunotherapy drug, CAR T, hit the market. My mom died of metastatic melanoma, and we've been able to fundraise a study in metastatic melanoma immunotherapy. And from everything I've been told, it works. It's working. She brought me home at 6 weeks of age and sacrificed everything, taught me everything, gave me everything I could possibly ever need to get through this life and the next one. My name is Scott Hamilton, and I am that kid.